I don't even know.
It's Tuesday night, man, and no one cares. We are live, man. NXT tonight. I don't even know why I'm here, man. I should be grinding on Destiny 2 after these servers were down all day today. That's what I should be doing. Yet I'm here talking about Kushida and Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship 2 out of 3 falls. Finn Balor gets his rematch against Karrion Kross. Why NXT is trying to make you believe that Austin Theory could step up face-to-face against Karrion Kross is another story. Johnny Gargano and Mr. Bronson Reed in a steel cage match next week. Mercedes Martinez challenges Raquel Gonzalez for the Women's Championship. And Takeover in Your House is coming back, hosted by Todd Pettinggill. Todd Pettingill is back. We're going to talk about this and all of your NXT from tonight. This is your NXT Post Show right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your NXT Post Show for May 11th, 2021. I am your host, JD from New York. Welcome to the OTS venue here on Off the Script. NXT tonight, decent show. It flowed well. Some really great wrestling from Kushida and Santos Escobar, but that's not really anything that you guys don't already know. But the big story coming out of tonight's show was two things. One, Finn Balor is getting his rematch against Karrion Kross, and it makes me wonder where Finn Balor is going after all of this NXT title chase. Is he staying on Tuesday nights? Is he going to get promoted to the main roster? Demoted to the main roster. I would love to see him go back to SmackDown, to be quite honest with you. I would love, in this very, if they could fucking keep their shit together, I would love to see this Finn Balor go to SmackDown to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I think that'd be a great match. I really would. I mean, Finn Balor definitely has his place in the downfall of Roman Reigns. Remember that SmackDown? And it wasn't SmackDown. It was Monday Night Raw, where Balor was first brought up to the main roster, and Roman Reigns, I believe it was him and Reigns in the main event after Balor won a fatal four-way. And then he goes on to wrestle Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. That first year, the Universal Championship was created, and it was a red title, not blue. I think that would be great. Balor on SmackDown challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. He's going to need challengers. You know, and we'll talk about that as we get on with the show, but that was the first thing that I was thinking about. So he's getting his rematch against Karrion Kross, And then we got Takeover in Your House. Takeover in Your House is back. It's happening in June. And this is, I believe, June 13th it's happening. I'm not really all that excited. The first In Your House wasn't all that great to begin with, but I guess it fits with the theme, being that NXT is still keeping these takeover shows inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. So I guess for another year it works. I hope that maybe they move these shows into actual venues when WWE gets back on the road. I really hope so. I would hope that Takeover in Your House was in front of an actual live audience inside an actual venue that's not the Capitol Wrestling Center, but a boy could dream. I don't think that will be the case, but Takeover in Your House is back. It is announced. Todd Petting, I was going to say Petting Zoo. I got this Jerry Lawler. When Jerry Lawler was a color commentator for WWE back in the 90s, he always used to call Todd Pettingill Petting Zoo. So I got myself now used to saying Petting Zoo because of Jerry the King Lawler. Todd Pettingill is back, and he's hosting the show, which is always a great thing because he was a great voice, you know? He was one of those guys that had his own natural charisma to him, and he just fit during that time period. So it's nice that they're bringing him back, and it's a nice homage to what we all loved about the old In Your House shows. Now, I hope that we see some build towards these Takeover in Your House shows leading up to that specific pay-per-view. I hope that we get some build. I hope that we get some matches fleshed out. I don't know what's going on with Kross. I don't know what's going on with the North American Championship. The Tag Team Championship seems to be the only thing right now that's a lock. I would assume that it's MSK against either Imperium or the Grizzled Young Veterans, maybe Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. So that seems like it's pretty much set in stone. Any one of those three teams there. We don't even know who Raquel Gonzalez is going to be wrestling at the pay-per-view. They announced this tonight, and there's been no week there on NXT that there's been build. There's been no weeks of build for this TakeOver show. Normally back in the day, NXT used to have maybe 4 or 5 takeover shows, and you would feel the build before they even announced the takeover show. Now it's like they're announcing these shows a week out, and they're doing nothing to build going into these shows. It's just very weird how things are being done in NXT, man. Everything that we're used to when it comes to NXT is no longer a thing now that they moved to the USA Network. It's just very weird. So they announced that tonight. We'll go over the actual news article as well. Mercedes Martinez versus Raquel Gonzalez. Decent enough women's match for Raquel's first title defense of that NXT Women's Championship. Wasn't the greatest match in the world. You could still see the inexperience on Raquel Gonzalez. You could see Mercedes Martinez and Raquel Gonzalez not really gelling well together for the most part in that match. It wasn't completely bad, but it wasn't on the scale of what I thought it could be. I think I gave it a little bit too much credit going in, but there was no story going in, so I don't really know how much credit anybody could really give it. We'll go over that. And then Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed was announced in a steel cage match that is happening next week on NXT. I do think that we get a new North American champion. I don't know what happens to Johnny. I think that they gave us the stipulation because they do plan on taking the title off of Johnny Gargano. And if they don't do it with Bronson Reed, I don't really know where Bronson Reed goes after this. So we'll see what happens. But there was also a little look, a stare from Karrion Kross and Johnny Gargano towards each other. I was wondering what they were doing there. I didn't know whether they were setting Johnny Gargano up for another match with Bronson Reed or Johnny Gargano up for a match with Karrion Kross. I'm glad that the latter is not happening because I don't think that would make much sense at all. And I don't think anybody would be in the situation of being somebody believing Johnny Gargano was going to beat Karrion Kross or not even beat him, stand the chance against Karrion Kross. So there was a moment tonight where I thought that was going to be a thing, and I'm glad it's not. So we'll go over everything that happened on the show tonight, but I appreciate you guys joining me here on the podcast. We are 631 in here on the live stream, 214 likes. Let's try and get that up, guys. Goal tonight is an very easy goal of 500. Let's do that. If you guys enjoy this, please hit that thumbs up. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Super chats are open. If you guys want to hang out, chat, bullshit, say your piece, you could do so with the super chats. We'll do them at the end of the show like we usually do. And if you guys want to follow me on social media, you guys can do that as well. At JDfromNY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you want to support the podcast, there are plenty of ways to do that. Number one, go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Monday Night Raw live stream live right now on the channel. We talked about the Backlash Go Home show and how terrible and uneventful Monday Night Raw once again was on your Monday night. That's live on the channel now. And Off the Script, episode 375 from this past weekend. We talked about the bullshit from the community in regards to AEW and the Blood and Guts match that happened last Wednesday. Go and check that out. That's also on the channel, as well as SmackDown and anything else that you missed from this previous weekend. Patreon.com/JD-from-NY206. If you guys want to support through the Patreon page. If you guys want to go get your t-shirts, Bonfire is the home. Bonfire.com. Link is down in the description below. And make sure you guys go and check out my sponsor for today's show, Dr. Squatch. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPTS at checkout. And you guys are going to save yourself 20% off all of your purchases on Dr. Squatch. They got soaps, they got shampoos, they got conditioners, they got cologne, they got toothpaste, they got deodorant. You name it, man. The best, and I mean the best in men's hygiene. Go and check them out. DrSquatch.com. Don't be a smelly wrestling mark. So go and bathe with some Dr. Squatch, man. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. Let's start at the top here, man. Karrion Kross versus Austin Theory. I'm a big Austin Theory guy. I got high hopes for him in WWE. He's just got the makeup of what Vince McMahon would really look for once he obviously matures into that role. Karrion Kross hasn't really done much with the NXT Championship since winning it from Finn Balor at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Now, I don't mind a good old-fashioned squash. I don't really mind something like this where Theory is used to progress a story with Johnny Gargano. But I don't know where any of this is going. I really don't. As far as this match goes, I just found it to be a waste of time. Are they building towards Johnny Gargano and Karrion Kross? And if so, why? Why would you even bother? Now, what about Austin Theory in this spot? You completely buried him in this spot. You tried to give him some offense in this match against Kross. Obviously, there was an outside interference from Johnny Gargano, but Austin Theory in a match with Kross, in any which way you put it, doesn't look believable. This is the problem that NXT is running into. You could rake the eyes, you could have an outside interference, you could do some fuckery on the outside. It's not going to matter. Because when it comes down to it in the ring, anything that Austin Theory does to Karrion Kross, it's not going to be believable. Kross has been built up so dominant, and he's been portrayed as a fucking serial killer on this show, that nobody you put in there is going to be legit enough to even get in offense on Kross, to make it to a point where he's actually struggling in a wrestling match. That's the problem that they've run into. And the only way out of this is putting him in the ring with somebody that's actually going to be as badass as Karrion Kross. And right now, they don't have that. They don't have that. I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to eventually venture down that Walter road? I highly doubt it. I hope so, because that's the only name that's coming off the page to me as a suitable contender for Karrion Kross. Other than that, he may hold the title for as long as anybody in that entire company. They have nobody. Now, going back to the Johnny Gargano thing, I don't really understand why they even teased this to have this match tonight. When Johnny Gargano was obviously still in a feud with Bronson Reed. He's still doing that thing with Dexter Lumis, and Indy Hartwell got that love triangle going on between her and The Way and him and all this other shit. But I didn't really understand the slow building, the eye contact between Johnny Gargano and Karrion Kross. It almost seemed like they were building towards a match between those two. Now, I was thinking, are they going to go the same way that they did with Keith Lee and Adam Cole? Are they going to give Karrion Kross both the NXT and the North American Championships? And I was thinking this and asking myself, well, why would they do this and then not do that? That's what I thought that they were building to, or at least teasing. Now, if they gave Kross the North American Championship, I was thinking of why. Why would they give him both championships? Maybe they don't want to beat Johnny Gargano. Maybe they want to protect Johnny Gargano, take the belt off of him, but then again, why would you put him in a match against Karrion Kross if you want to protect him? There's only one way in and one way out in that match. You walk in champion, you walk out without the championship. Maybe they don't want to have a situation with Johnny Gargano where he loses the championship to put somebody else over. Maybe they just want to get it off of him and put it on somebody else to a point where Bronson Reed or Dexter Lumis can do it without beating Johnny Gargano. I don't know. I was thinking about all these different situations. Probably doesn't make any sense, but I was thinking, why would they even be teasing this? Why would they be teasing this? And why would they even bother giving Kross even more gold when they don't even have competition for the main title he's holding? None of it made sense. None of it made sense. It almost seemed like it was booked on Monday Night Raw for all I care. So Austin Theory's in there. He gets buried. His offense doesn't look believable. And this obviously ended the way that it should have ended, with Karrion Kross winning with a Saito suplex. There's one thing that happened in this match that absolutely made me LOL. Johnny Gargano is so fucking great at what he does. This guy legitimately made me LOL while watching this match, the beginning of this match. Karrion Kross made his entrance. Okay? Austin Theory was already out there. He made his entrance. And he's standing outside the ring with Johnny Gargano. And Karrion Kross is in the ring. And he's doing all that he does with Scarlett and the smoke and the stare and the camera. It's all perfect, right? And then Johnny Gargano's on the outside. Him and Austin Theory are just mesmerized by what they're watching here. Austin Theory's like staring. He's all stoic and he's just in amazement at Karrion Kross and his entrance. And Johnny Gargano standing there giving the same expression. And then all of a sudden he snaps out of it. He's like, you got it. Go in there. You got it. It was almost so comedic that it was very difficult not to laugh. You got it. Go in there. You got a chance. So he's pretty much burying Austin Theory himself by saying, yeah, you got it. Get. Show me what you got. So I found that to be funny. Kross was dominant right from the start. And Theory delivered a fallaway slam to get some offense here. Obviously, there was a distraction by Gargano. This led to Theory raking the eyes of Kross, temporarily blinding him. Theory capitalized, like I said, with a fallaway slam. Kross obviously no-sold this shit. He exploded into 2 Saito suplexes, and then his Doomsday forearm strike. Theory was already out. Kross locked in a guillotine choke. Referee then stopped the match, and that was it. Austin Theory passes out. During the match, a title match was announced for next week with Bronson Reed challenging Johnny Gargano. Not sure why they had to announce this in the middle of this match while they were teasing Johnny Gargano and Karrion Kross, but this is NXT on USA, folks. I don't know anything that they got going on nowadays. After the match was over, Johnny and Austin Theory leave the ringside area. Finn Balor all of a sudden appears behind Karrion Kross, and he's just staring at Kross. Scarlett's there. You got Balor on one side. You got Kross on the other. Scarlett's in the middle with the camera angle focused on them. And Balor suddenly says, I'm tired of waiting I want my rematch. Kross says he wants it just as bad as Finn Balor. Kross says, let's do this. And the match wasn't made then, but they did announce it for 2 weeks from now. Karrion Kross will defend that NXT Championship against Finn Balor on USA Tuesday night, 2 weeks from now. Now, I don't know why Balor is getting another championship match. It's almost as if, again, this is all Monday Night Raw-esque. He didn't really do anything to get another opportunity. He just shows up. He stares down the champion. He asks for a title shot. He gets it. You know, NXT of old wasn't usually this way. You never showed up and asked. You always had to show up, compete, do, prove, and then get. This is not the NXT of old anymore, and I don't know where they've gone wrong. Balor's done nothing. Nobody believes Balor's beating Kross. Balor had a very good match against Kross, but that doesn't mean I want to see it again. It legitimately doesn't make sense. I feel like they're only doing it because ratings. That's the only reason why they're doing it. And then after this, who does Kross have to defend that title against? Not many. Pete Dunne staked his claim. Kyle O'Reilly staked his claim. Johnny Gargano has staked his claim. Maybe Johnny loses the North American Championship to Bronson Reed, and they do a fatal four-way with all four of those guys. Kross, and then you got Dunn, O'Reilly, and Johnny Gargano. But then where does Adam Cole fit in? Adam Cole already said that he doesn't want Kyle O'Reilly stepping over him on NXT. Does Adam Cole want to come back and get another championship title opportunity? There's nobody believable. Dunn's not going to work. Out of all the names, I think Dunn would probably be the most serious. He would probably be the most legit. And even him, I'm not going to take over Kross. Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, cool Kyle, ain't taking the title. Johnny Gargano, no thank you. Adam Cole, not believable. They run right back into the situation that they were in. Even in a multi-man match, 4, 5, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Nobody is going to be believable against Karrion Kross. Now, the thing with Finn Balor is, what happens when he loses? Because you know he's going to lose. What happens to him? Does he stay on Tuesday nights? NXT doesn't seem to need him anymore. I don't think he even needs NXT himself. He doesn't really do anything for the ratings. What does Balor do for NXT on Tuesday night? Does he bring more audience in? Does Balor mean ratings? Does he generate more interest for NXT? I don't think so. I think Balor has been spent. He's been spent on the black and gold brand. I think you move him to Friday nights. I think you move him into a title picture with Roman Reigns later this year. Roman Reigns needs some nice competition for SummerSlam. I think a match with Finn Balor sounds pretty damn good to me. That's what I would do. Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. I know a lot of you guys would probably think, well, JD, what about Big E? I don't think Big E's ready. I don't think Big E is ready. Big E is ready when Big E is looked at as a Universal Champion. Right now, he's not looked at as a Universal Champion. After Cesaro, who do they got? Daniel Bryan's not with the WWE right now. After Cesaro, they got nobody. Shinsuke Nakamura. Can't name anybody else after Shinsuke Nakamura. Big E, I know you guys are probably hanging your hat on Big E. Big E ain't the guy. Big E is not the guy. They could have done Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio seems to be in the tag team division with his son Dominic. I think Finn Balor is a money match with Roman Reigns. And please, we're going to need something to offset Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam, man. We need at least one good championship match at SummerSlam to get people interested in SummerSlam. Summer Scam. It's already looking like the biggest scam of the summer with Jinder Mahal back. Don't get me started. Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. I think he loses the Kross. Move him to Friday night. Put him in the hands of Paul Heyman and let Paul Heyman do his work. Cruiserweight champion Kushida. He's got a match with Santos Escobar. I love Santos Escobar, man. He is so great. He is so awesome. 2 out of 3 falls match against Escobar tonight in the main event. I like that WWE didn't give the women the obligatory main event spot. I love the fact, even though nobody cares, I love the fact that the Cruiserweight Championship main evented on NXT tonight. Normally, WWE would go right to the women. They gave it right to the Cruiserweights. Love it. So he was arriving in the arena tonight, and they showed footage of that. We saw footage of Leon Ruff. He was confronting NXT General Manager William Regal in his office earlier today. Leon Ruff wanted to compete tonight, but Regal refused to book him because of the beating he took in the Falls Count Anywhere match to Isaiah Swerve Scott last week, which was very good. Ruff yelled at Regal. He was really emotional here. He was throwing things off of his desk. He got in Regal's face. And Regal said he would not change his mind, and Leon Ruff stormed off angry. I love this segment. If you guys watched the show tonight, I thought this segment was great. I'm thinking to myself, that's at least believable emotion. He wants to compete. He's upset at himself for what happened in the match with Isaiah Swerve Scott last week. He wants to compete. Why does he want to compete? The medical team just cleared him after last week's Falls Count Anywhere match. William Regal said, no, I know you beat up. I'm doing you a favor. Don't disobey me. And then he got in Regal's face saying he wants to fight. I'm ready. I could do it. And the emotion that Leon Ruff showed to William Regal was at least legit or somewhere close to realistic. And I'm asking myself, why don't we see that level of emotion on Monday night? They don't even get anywhere close to what Leon Ruff, poor little Leon Ruff, they don't get anywhere close to what Leon Ruff did tonight in William Regal's office on Monday Night Raw. I thought this was great. We go into MSK. Still nobody knows what that means. Versus Breezango. Breezango. I'm a fan of Breezango. I'm a fan of serious Breezango. I don't mind their silly theatrics in moderation. But when they just look and feel like a comedy team, that's all people are going to look at Breezango as a comedy team. This was a fun match. Tag team division seems to be a little bit better each and every week. And there's no way that it could be bad when you got MSK, Breezango. Tyler Breeze and Fandango are very good professional wrestlers. You got MSK, you got Breezango, you got Imperium, you got the Grizzled Young Veterans, you got Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, though they're not a real team. They still need some work in that NXT tag team division, but it's coming along. If they could do a little more rebuilding and add maybe 2 or 3 more teams, I think that would do wonders for them. Because MSK is going to run out of competition very quickly at this rate. So this was a fun little match. This was, early on, really good stuff between these two. They did a spot. Get this. They did a spot that involved the referee who was in the middle of this. There was leapfrogs and there was a lot of acrobatics here, jumping over each other with Breezango and MSK. And the referee inadvertently got involved in all of this mayhem to a point where the referee was actually jumping over wrestlers and doing a leapfrog in the sequence, running the ropes. And I'm asking myself, why? I'm looking at this and I'm like, why did that just happen on NXT? It was very main roster-ish for the referee to get involved and do a leapfrog over one of the other guys that's actually in the match. And then after the fact, he starts dancing around and he starts hyping himself up. He already made himself a bigger guy in this match than all 4 of these guys. He made himself the center of attention. He made himself the spotlight. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but that is one of Vince McMahon's cardinal rules. The referee cannot get himself over. Referees are to be there, nameless. They're not supposed to do anything but count the 1, 2, 3 and make sure the wrestlers are safe. They're not supposed to be called out by name by the commentary team. They're not supposed to be given identities. They're not supposed to be given any type of natural charisma. We don't know how charismatic these guys are. They're supposed to be out there acting as if they are soulless, lifeless zombies. That's all that they're supposed to do. And this guy made himself more over than every other referee on the NXT and WWE main roster. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a thing moving forward where he acts like that, but Jesse and I were going back and forth watching this. I didn't like it at first because I thought it was very main roster-ish, but then he said, you know what, that's one of Vince McMahon's cardinal rules. And I'm like, you know what? I do remember that being stated. And with him doing that, I actually liked it because it broke Vince McMahon's cardinal rule. I want referees to have a name. I want referees to have charisma. I want referees to be the most important part of that match. The referee should be just as important as everybody that's performing in that ring. Absolutely. We grew up with Earl Hebner, and he was as fucking involved as anybody ever. He was one of the greatest, if not the greatest referee of all time, Earl Hebner. He's done it all. He's seen it all. Aubrey Edwards is following in his footsteps. That's his daughter for AEW. And then you got Mike Chioda. You got Charles Robinson. All these guys. We grew up with these guys. And they got names. I couldn't even tell you any of the new age WWE referees and what their names are. Because that's the way we've been conditioned. That's the way we've been told to watch WWE television. I don't like it. I want to know their names. I want to know. I want to hear them talk about the match. They should have a very pivotal role in the match before and after. If there's a fuck finish, I want to hear about why the referee made that decision. We always got to hear it from the commentary team. We got to hear about it from Adam Pearce. We got to hear about it from William Regal. Give the referee the microphone time in the back to explain why he made a controversial decision, why he counted this person out, why he thought the count was slow, or whatever the case may be. That's what needs to be. Referees need to have a huge part in the match, just as big as the performers in the ring. Now, I don't want it to have it go over the top, but whatever they did tonight, it looked a little cheesy at first, but being that it broke Vince McMahon's cardinal rule, break all the rules you want, man. Vince is out of his fucking mind. So MSK had a series of double team moves here. Their double team offense is crisp, it's clean, it's great. So they did some double team moves on Breeze. Fandango with a spear broke up a near fall pin attempt in the middle of this match. A brawl between all four guys erupted. And we had MSK. They were rocked by double super kicks here by Breezango and Tyler Breeze. Fandango, rather, and Tyler Breeze. Carter went to a springboard. He went to do that out of the ring with a moonsault to the outside. And MSK executed their heart attack blockbuster combo. Carter made a cover on Breeze for a near fall. Breeze, after the match was over, looked upset. And he shook hands. So did Fandango with MSK. And they showed some sportsmanship, a sign of respect. So it was the pinfall attempt off of the heart attack blockbuster combo that got the victory for MSK. And that was pretty much it. Just a nice little win here to solidify MSK as the tag team champions. And they're going to be moving on to Takeover in Your House. I'm assuming against one of those other three teams that I just mentioned, whether it's the Grizzled Young Veterans, which I have no problem with, or Imperium, which I have absolutely no problem with, or Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Either one of those three teams, I do think, it may be all four of those teams in the same match for all we know, but one of those teams, I do think, will get the tag team title opportunity against MSK at Takeover in Your House. After the match, like I said, we go to Johnny Gargano. He storms into NXT General Manager William Regal's office, and he's not happy about defending the title against Bronson Reed. Regal isn't changing his mind, but he wishes Johnny Gargano luck. Johnny goes to grab the brass knuckles that are on display on William Regal's desk. And William Regal said, "Don't you even dare. Don't you even think about touching my brass knuckles." So instead, Johnny Gargano takes the pencil that William Regal is writing with, breaks it over his knee, and he throws it at William Regal and walks out of the office. Johnny Gargano even has his own headbands made. They love Johnny Gargano over there. He's like, "Of course I respect you," says William Regal. "You're the North American champion, but I'm having you defend the title. Of course, everybody loves you around here." The fucking marketing team made him headbands. So he's got that title defense coming up next week. Everrise was sitting behind the announcers holding a sign to promote their Everrise live social media show that airs on the weekends. Now, I don't know if this is a thing, but I would be very curious to know who actually watches a live Everrise social media show. Is there anybody in this chat that watches Everrise live on social media? I would say the answer is no. I don't think they get anybody watching that show. Maybe Kevin Owens. Maybe Kevin Owens is the only guy watching Everrise live. They announced Takeover in Your House 2021 on Sunday, June 13th. And nobody knows where it's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be in the Capitol Wrestling Center, but that will probably be the place that it takes place in. Took place in Full Sail University last year. Featured some notable matches, mainly the women's triple threat match that main evented the show between Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte Flair. You guys remember that match, right? Where Charlotte Flair lost the championship, but she didn't get pinned. She didn't get pinned. Io pinned Rhea in that match. You guys remember that, right? You guys remember that Charlotte was too afraid to put somebody else over by lying on her back, looking up at the spotlights at Full Sail University. You guys remember that, right? Yeah. Now, I remember it very vividly. Rhea Ripley is still suffering from that fucking nightmare last year. That, losing to WrestleMania, or losing to Charlotte at WrestleMania, rather. She's still feeling the effects of that, man. Show also featured Karrion Kross versus Tommaso Ciampa. And one of the worst cinematic matches in the cinematic era, Adam Cole defending the NXT Championship against the Velveteen Dream, who apparently was backstage at Monday Night Raw, but not used. I wonder what he was backstage for. Uh-oh. Get that cancel Velveteen Dream hashtag ready. He may be making a main roster demotion very soon. Maybe in this case, that would be looked at as a promotion for him, because I don't know how much lower Velveteen Dream can get. But they announced this for June 13th. No matches obviously are announced yet, but NXT has brought back several old classic shows. They've revitalized some WCW shows, and In Your House is something that I grew up loving back in the day. I thought In Your Houses were largely great, even though they were throwaway shows. If you guys remember, In Your House was something that was created to kind of fill in between all of the other major WWE shows, like the Royal Rumble. Then there'd be an In Your House right before WrestleMania. And then after WrestleMania, there'd be In Your Houses plugged in right before the King of the Ring. And then after King of the Ring, In Your House is plugged in right before SummerSlam, so on and so forth. You guys get the point. So In Your House was actually used to give WWE a full 12 months of pay-per-view to kind of offset the major shows that they got, the Big Four or the Big Five. Then it became something that they did away with, and they just branded themselves as pay-per-view every month, and they came up with cool pay-per-view names: Armageddon, Backlash, Payback, Bash at the Beach, the Great American Bash, whatever the case may be. Unforgiven. But WWE is revitalizing this and bringing it back to NXT for 2021. And I'm assuming it will be taking place inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. And I hope this is the last takeover that is done inside the Capitol Wrestling Center, because takeovers, they really suffer. And Takeover Stand and Deliver really suffered, especially on night 2, because night 1 was better, A. B, it was in the same place as all the other NXT weekly shows on USA Network. And that, visually, you can't not think about it. Everything just feels like an NXT show at that point. It doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel like a pay-per-view. So I think NXT needs to get the fuck out of the Capitol Wrestling Center quick for these shows. AEW is going to be back on the road in July. July 7, July 14, July 21. They've already got dates and more to come. They're going to be in Florida. They're going to be in Miami, actually, for that first show. And then they're going to be in Texas. Houston, I believe, is one of them. So it's going to be great. They're getting out of Daly's Place. Daly's Place is going to be full capacity for Double or Nothing, 5,500 people. So AEW is getting back on the road, man. They're getting back to normal. NXT needs to follow very quickly behind AEW, man, because this show, AEW survived with the pandemic. They made it work. I think AEW set a nice little foundation for themselves with these pandemic shows. Right before they actually had fans in attendance, those shows, they obviously felt pandemic-ish, but they felt better than whatever WWE was doing. I think WWE's been behind the 8 ball, and they still are. I think they need to get out of the Capitol Wrestling Center for these shows, because TakeOver does not feel the same, and that is just very, very sad. It's a shame. TakeOver used to be the standard for what WWE should be doing on the main roster, and now it's going to be a struggle to get back to bring TakeOver back to that level. So hopefully they do bring people back after TakeOver in your house sometime this summer. Pete Dunne, he's in the ring. And he says, while Oney Lorcan stands guard at ringside, Dunn is calling out Karrion Kross. So Karrion Kross has chosen Finn Balor, but he doesn't blame him, because we all know Dunn is the toughest possible opponent for Kross on NXT. Dunn warns that he will get an NXT title sooner rather than later. An NXT title. That could be a very open-ended statement. Doesn't have to be the NXT title. It could be an NXT title. I do foresee Bronson Reed winning the North American Championship from Johnny Gargano, and I see Pete Dunne taking the North American Championship off of Bronson Reed. That's the way I see it. And then after that, maybe we get Dexter Lumis versus Pete Dunne. What happens to Johnny Gargano, I don't know. Maybe they move him up to the main roster. Who the fuck knows? He's got the character developed right now to fit right on the main roster. I think his heel work is actually coming very close to what he did as a babyface. He's got that charisma. He's got that character. He's got that wittiness down perfect. There's Johnny Gargano. I think he would be great. Now, Bruce won't think he's great, or Vince might not think he's great, but stranger things have happened, man. So he said that he is the possible toughest opponent for Karrion Kross. He will get an NXT title sooner rather than later. Dunn then issues an open challenge to anyone in the back, and out comes Leon Ruff, who complained to William Regal that he's cleared, but William Regal wouldn't let him wrestle, but he's out there anyway. Leon Ruff suddenly attacks from behind. They brawl. Dunn goes to the floor. Lorcan is talking trash. Dunn holds him back. So we get Pete Dunne versus Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff is very good. I'm just not a fan of Leon Ruff. I love his scrappiness. I love his never say die attitude. He's a good beat-up guy. He's a good guy to use when you want to get somebody over as a dominant fucking savage. That's the type of role that Leon Ruff plays very well. But Ruff got some offense in here. Dunn obviously was working on the fingers, the joint manipulation, obviously beating him down. He was almost licking his chops because he knew Leon Ruff was quote-unquote hurt coming out of the match last week. So Leon Ruff tried to mount some offense as they run the ropes, but Dunn levels him, goes back to working on the joint manipulation. And Dunn slaps Ruff, but Ruff fires back with some strikes. Ruff sends Dunn to the corner, kicks him in the head. Ruff drops Dunn over his knee, hits a missile drop kick on Pete Dunne. Dunn comes right back, drops Ruff with an enziguri. Leon Ruff is still in this thing. He nails a slingshot torpedo, then leaps off the top rope. But Dunn knocks him on the way down with a big forearm. Dunn immediately locks Ruff in a submission, unloads some elbow strikes, trapping him down on the mat. Referee calls for the bell, and Pete Dunne wins the match. After the match, Dunn stands tall. Fans are booing him. Referees check on Leon Ruff. While Dunn is standing there, Dunn grabs Ruff's fingers and snaps them again to louder boos in the CWC. Officials then order Dunn out of the ring as Ruff is selling the joint manipulation from Pete Dunne. Now, I thought this was fine, but William Regal really was stern earlier in the night and told Leon Ruff, "You are not wrestling tonight by nobody's orders in this building but mine. You are not wrestling tonight. I don't give a shit who cleared you in medical." But he comes out here and he disobeys William Regal, and he's wrestling Pete Dunne against William Regal's orders. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a thing moving on to next week, but he got his ass kicked again. I would like to think, in the nature of what NXT is and what NXT used to be, that they would continue this next week. I'm surprised they didn't do anything tonight, because Leon Ruff disobeyed William Regal. William Regal said no, Leon Ruff disobeyed William Regal, and nothing was said about it. It kind of makes William Regal look like a pushover that Leon Ruff just disobeyed his orders. Now, I don't see William Regal as the type of guy to take any bullshit from anybody, so I do hope something is said next week because, like I said, if nothing is said here and Leon Ruff was told he can't wrestle but wrestled anyway and did what he wanted to do and no punishment is going to come down upon him, it does make William Regal look weak. So that's that. But I did enjoy this segment here with Pete Dunne. They're clearly going in some sort of direction with Pete Dunne. What that direction is, I don't know. Karrion Kross, who knows? He's not winning the NXT Championship. I do see Pete Dunne eventually becoming a North American champion sometime this year. That's my prediction. Legado del Fantasma is backstage. Raul Mendoza, Santos Escobar, and Joaquin Wilde. Mendoza and Wilde talk about how Escobar is bringing home the Cruiserweight title tonight. Escobar also sends a warning to Kushida and promises to be a two-time NXT champion after tonight. We go to a quick vignette of Frankie Monet. We are getting, ladies and gentlemen, her world premiere debut in 2 weeks. So that is the same night where Finn Balor will challenge Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. So Frankie Monet, after all these weeks, she's finally getting her in-ring debut. I already hate the gimmick, and all I give a shit about is what's the dog's name, and we still don't have a name for her incredibly cute puppy, which is more over than she is at this juncture. NXT Women's title match, Mercedes Martinez versus Raquel Gonzalez. This happened in the middle of the show. Surprised that it was not the main event. Regardless, Raquel Gonzalez won the championship at TakeOver Night 1. WrestleMania weekend from Io Shirai. We have yet to see Io outside of a promo here and there. But this is the first title defense for Raquel Gonzalez. And I do think that Mercedes Martinez was the perfect first opponent for Raquel Gonzalez. They look similar in size. They look similar in stature. They're two incredibly built women. And I thought this was going to put over Raquel Gonzalez as a nice first effort as champion. Also, at the same time, you got to make Mercedes Martinez look strong as well because she's A, not a pushover, and B, she's somebody that clearly they brought in with high hope, possibly with NXT Women's Championship title potential as well, Mercedes Martinez. It's just such a loaded division that you obviously got to wait your time. It's going to be something that is going to be a little bit of a waiting game. You got to have a little bit of patience if you're female joining NXT because that is a deep pond. There's a lot of names in that women's division. It's almost like the AEW tag team division. A lot of tag teams in that AEW tag team division, and there's only so much water to swim in. Same thing with the women here in NXT. So they brawled, starting out, and they quickly spilled to the outside. They brawled right away, and I started yelling at my TV early in the match. We right away get the introductions, maybe 30 seconds of action, and they go right to a picture-in-picture commercial break. Let me get into the fucking match first before you go to a goddamn commercial break, but this is USA Network. So Martinez was in control. She had Gonzalez trapped in the ropes. Martinez with a draping and twisting neck breaker on Gonzalez looked really good. Really good. Mercedes followed with a spear on the apron. That also looked good. So Gonzalez was in trouble. So Martinez went for a cover here. She kicked out at 2. They traded strikes. A power bomb into a hot shot that cut off Martinez, but Martinez also kicked out at 2. And then they traded more strikes. They traded near falls back and forth. Martinez countered Gonzalez when Gonzalez went for her finisher. She went for the big choke slam. Martinez then delivered a running knee strike and a suplex for a 2 count. Gonzalez then was trying to get back into this thing. She was firing herself up. Boot to the face. And Gonzalez with her signature powerbomb on Martinez. Gonzalez went on to cover Martinez 1, 2, 3. And that was pretty much the end of it. We got Mercedes Martinez falling, as she should, to Raquel Gonzalez. The match itself was fine for what it was. But it wasn't great by any means. Mercedes Martinez is very good. And she should be for an 18-year, 19-year veteran. But Raquel Gonzalez, you did see some of that green still come out. She's not completely ready yet. WWE clearly wanted to move on from Io Shirai and start building around Raquel Gonzalez for whatever reason. I've always been of the mentality to keep the championship on somebody before they drop it to somebody that's not ready. I don't like that. Keep the championship on somebody until the next person in line is ready. Raquel Gonzalez had the look to be ready, but I don't think she was ready to be in the ring to be a successor to Io Shirai. That was clear and apparent in this match. That's just the way I see it. That's what I took away from it. I'm a big fan of Raquel Gonzalez. Don't misconstrue my words. Do not misquote me. I just don't think that she's at that level yet to even be in the ring as a champion. She's got the look. She's got the presence. She's got the size. She's got everything working for her. She's not even bad on the microphone. I just don't think that she's ready to be champion as far as an in-ring aspect to follow in the footsteps of Io Shirai. Where's Io? I don't know. I have no idea. Who's next for Raquel? I don't know. But this match not only suffered because Raquel of not being ready yet, and her not being ready yet, but what was the actual story in this match? It seemingly was just 2 women who were vying over the championship, and there was no real drama. There was no real story there for either one of these women to be in the ring together. It was almost as if, hey, you cut me in line at the supermarket, let's fight. It was that simple. You got the NXT championship, I want dibs. Okay, that's great. Mercedes Martinez won a couple of matches, and that's all it was. But there was no real substantial story. I think these writers, I truly believe the writers in WWE, up and down, from NXT to SmackDown, unless you're Paul Heyman, Monday Night Raw, I don't think they know how to write captivating stories. Why are they wrestling? There's no standings. Wins and losses don't matter. You got to come up with the reason as to why they are wrestling. What is the drama? What is the dilemma between both of these women? It doesn't exist. There was no story going into it. And if there's no story going into it, then the interest from someone like me and a lot of people watching this show, I assume, the interest is not going to be there. There needs to be a story. There needs to be a reason why we care. And that was just not there tonight, which also took away from the match. But the right person won. Raquel Gonzalez retains the championship. Where does she go from here? I have no idea. Where does she go from here, moving on to TakeOver? Do we get Zoe Stark versus Raquel Gonzalez? Do we get Toni Storm? A rematch with Io? What do we get? Finn Balor got a championship rematch against Karrion Kross by just asking. If Io Shirai is smart, she'd go right to Raquel Gonzalez and ask for a rematch. She'd probably get it. There's nobody built up right now. There's nobody in line that WWE is built up for Raquel Gonzalez after this match. You got now 4 weeks to do so. And even then, is it going to be enough for you to care? No. The old NXT, you would have had 2 or 3 other women in line to maybe think, oh, maybe it's this one or maybe it's that one. Maybe that one's ready. Here we have nobody. Nobody. They're too busy pandering around with the NXT Women's Championships, NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. That's what their concern is. That's what it seems to me like their priority is. Could be a Shotzi, could have been a Candice, could have been an Ember. No, but you got all these women now vying for the Tag Team Championships. Now you're leaving Raquel without a fucking challenger. I don't know. It is what it is, man. The fuck do I know? All I know is it doesn't feel like or resemble the old NXT in any sense of the word. Isaiah Swerve Scott quickly becoming my favorite thing on this show outside Johnny Gargano. Isaiah Swerve Scott and Ashanti The Adonis and Brianna Brandy with Top Dollar. They're shown walking into the building outside in the parking lot. They knock the cameraman down. They taunt him while they enter the building. Then we go right to Johnny Gargano. He's pushing security out of the way. He storms into William Regal's office. And apparently, no, I'm sorry. That was before. He shoved the cameraman away, and Bronson Reed was actually laying on the locker room floor. He was beat up. And Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano were seen leaving the locker room. So they went to attack Bronson Reed in the locker room after William Regal made this match official next week for the North American Championship. Reed was on the ground. Officials were helping him up. And then he yells, Johnny Gargano is a dead man. And then that's when we got the steel cage match being announced between Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed. Speaking of Isaiah Swerve Scott, before we seen them enter the building, his new group, now they're in the ring. They made their way down to the ring, and they are now named the, what the hell are their names? Did I write it down here? Hit Row. They're now named Hit Row. And Isaiah Swerve Scott's out there with his posse. AJ Francis, Top Dollar, Ashante Adonis, and Brianna Brandy. They all head to the ring together. They got really cool theme music. Seems like they actually worked decently enough to give them legit theme music that fits the character and fits the group. And when they're in the ring, Francis grabs a red chair for Isaiah Swerve Scott to sit in, and he sits in the middle of the ring, and all 3 of them are just surrounding him as he sits middle of the ring. Isaiah Swerve Scott's on the microphone. He says he admits he made some mistakes here in NXT, but the biggest was trying to be what people wanted him to be, and that's not him. What Swerve is a savage. What Swerve is disrespectful. What Swerve is a dangerous man. That's how he's been thinking for the last 6 months, so it was only right that he recruited some people who think that same way he does. He introduces Top Dollar first, a.k.a. AJ Francis. He rhymes about going from the NFL to A&E to XXL magazine to NXT. Francis, I got to admit, I'm not really a rap aficionado, but he spits some nice rhymes here. Very reminiscent of what the Acclaimed do on AEW. And Francis keeps rapping as the others cheer him on from the background. Adonis was there. He also rapped. Brandy also had a microphone. She's calling herself B-Fab. She brings up rapping on tour with Juicy J and living overseas. She could have stayed over there, but now she's in NXT to help out Swerve because Swerve needed a mastermind. So they also rap about taking out Leon Ruff last week. Swerve says that they're just having fun. But what we see in the ring is going to be a problem for NXT. Together they make hits, and they are hit row. And if we didn't know, now we know. They pose together, their music starts back up, and they all posed as the camera went off into the next segment. This was great. This, to me, was easily the best segment of the entire night. I've been saying it for weeks, ever since I started doing the NXT live streams and NXT reviews again. I think one of the best things about this show is Isaiah Swerve Scott. Not only is he a fantastic professional wrestler, but I love the fact that they took what was vanilla about him and they're actually building something out of what I believe is really him away from the ring. The reason why I think I'm going to like this a lot is because what you're watching and what you're seeing is exactly what Isaiah Swerve Scott is away from WWE. The attitude, the gimmick, the hobbies, the whole presentation. This is Isaiah Swerve Scott. This is something that they took, is real life, and amped it up a little bit. I think this is going to work out great. Now, as always, with everything that is NXT, I'm afraid. I really am afraid. I'm afraid because what is the ceiling for something like this in WWE? This might be a perfect fit for NXT. And for all we know, when that day comes and they get called up to the main roster, they may end up like Sanity. Remember that? Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf and Eric Young. They may end up like Sanity in WWE. Broken up, changed, split up, then released. Does this have longevity in WWE? Or is this something that is going to be NXT only? I don't want to judge it yet because we don't know what its potential is fully. We don't know anybody in this group yet. We don't know how good they could wrestle or if they could wrestle at all. We know Isaiah Swerve Scott. That's it. We don't know anything about Brianna Brandy. We don't know anything about Ashante Adonis outside of that. He was on NXT for a couple of job matches, on the main roster for a couple of job matches on 205 Live. We don't know anything from Top Dollar. But I'm going to reserve judgment on what they do. Because right now, their only purpose on TV is to raise Isaiah Swerve Scott and his stock. That's the only reason why they're there. As long as they make him look good, they're doing their job. Them wrestling is secondary here. Hopefully, in the meantime, while they're raising Scott's stock, they're in the PC doing what they need to do. But I'm going to reserve judgment on what I think about the group. But the presentation, the feel, the music, the gimmick that Swerve Scott has kind of molded himself into here, I love it. I think it's great. I could see him being the top guy in NXT eventually. The days of Kross, when that is all over with and we get back to, someone like, a Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa or guys that size being NXT champion. Soon as you move away from the Kross era and you get back to a little bit more of an open-ended NXT title picture, I could see Isaiah Swerve Scott absolutely being the guy holding that big championship. But where does this fit into the landscape of WWE? Everything has a shelf life in this company. They either love it and kill it over time, or just abuse the shit out of it where it's not special anymore, or they use it and then kill it immediately because they try so hard and so desperately to change what NXT has created and mold it into their own image, and then by then it's dead. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm loving what they're doing with Swerve Scott. I think it's great. Great. Top guy, Angelina Milano, get out of my chat. Yes, Isaiah Swerve Scott wrestles like a top guy. He absolutely wrestles like a top guy. He's absolutely a guy that could be NXT champion. If you don't think so, These are the same people that tell me Adam Cole is never going to main event a WrestleMania. Or he's not good enough to main event a WrestleMania, I should say. Adam Cole's a jobber. These are the same people that tell me Adam Cole sucks. Fuck off. People don't know shit. This is why I'm behind the microphone. You want to go spew your fucking bullshit, then by all means, go start your own fucking show. But when I start talking about what I want to talk about here, 99.9% of the time, it's factual information. Angelina, get out. Moving on here, man. We've seen footage from a real estate auction held earlier today. Cameron Grimes interrupted the host and placed a starting bid of $2 million. So Grimes tells the other bidders to put their paddles down. He wanted to bid $2 million. He started the bid off at $2 million. And everybody else was obviously outbidding him. He also asked the host, Alan, to talk slower. Why is this guy talking so fast? So we see a mystery man in the back. And he keeps bidding. Grimes bids $8 million for this home. We didn't get a glimpse at the home. We don't know what type of home they were bidding on. And the guy, Alan, said going once, going twice. And then the man in the back, he bid $20 million. $20 million. So clearly Grimes is out. He doesn't have the $20 million. The home is sold to the man in the back with the deep pockets. Grimes yells out and asks, who spends $20 million on a house? And then all of a sudden, it's the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase. Grimes is upset. He's furious, accusing Ted of ruining his life. Ted repeats, everybody's got a price, and then does his signature laugh. Walks off as Grimes continues to scream in the air. He wants to fight Ted DiBiase right now. I don't know where this is going, but I'm enjoying these skits, man. I'm enjoying these little vignettes with Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase. Cool Kyle O'Reilly versus Oney Lorcan. We got a match between these two. Apparently, it was supposed to be Alexander Wolf of Imperium versus Killian Dane. They had to scratch that match. One of them had a stomach virus. So we got Kyle O'Reilly versus Oney Lorcan instead. Bell rings. They go up against each other. They're feeling each other out. Lorcan was dropped eventually with a shoulder breaker. Lorcan comes back, levels O'Reilly with an elbow. They run the ropes. Lorcan whips O'Reilly across the ring. Hits the turnbuckles very hard. Falling to the mat, Lorcan with a forearm to the back. Kyle then counters, uses the ropes for an armbar. Referee starts counting. O'Reilly works the referee's count. O'Reilly falls to the floor. Getting in Pete Dunne's face, who was on the outside with Oney Lorcan. Dunne and O'Reilly face off at ringside. Lorcan uses this distraction and attacks from behind. And Lorcan in control. So they get up. Lorcan delivers big chops in the corner. Lorcan with another big chop. O'Reilly rocks him with some forearms in retaliation. This goes on for a little bit. O'Reilly starts leveling Lorcan with the kicks. Lorcan catches a kick, delivers a shot into the corner. He charges at him, but he gets knees to the gut, and then he goes down. O'Reilly unloads with some big strikes on the mat, doing that ground and pound he does so well. O'Reilly sweeps Lorcan to the mat. He then hits a running forearm on Lorcan. O'Reilly snaps the arm back, slams Lorcan into a heel hook submission. Lorcan then counters, and we get a rope break, more back and forth. O'Reilly goes for the guillotine, but ends up dropping Lorcan with a big knee. O'Reilly finishes him off with the brain buster and a flying knee drop, and that was it. And that's enough for Kyle O'Reilly to get the victory here. He beats Oney Lorcan tonight on NXT. Cool Kyle beats Oney Lorcan. I said this on Twitter, man. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. Ever since the Undisputed Era was broken up, Kyle O'Reilly has felt insignificant. It's amazing to me how we go from Undisputed Era and all four of them feeling like such a big deal to Roderick Strong not even being there. Bobby Fish made his return tonight. I'll talk about that in a second. Bobby Fish, for the longest, not being there. Kyle O'Reilly really struggling to find who he really is as a singles performer in WWE. And then Adam Cole. Adam Cole is going to be the one guy that's going to be perfectly okay in this because Adam Cole was it. He's got it. Adam Cole is going to be perfectly fine. He's got the in-ring ability. He's got the promo. He's got the charisma. He's a natural leader. He's one of the best pro wrestlers in the world. He will be fine. But it's amazing how all four of them, they were very reminiscent of a Transformer. I grew up on the Transformers in the 80s, man. You got the Destructicons. You got all fucking four of these guys that made one big unstoppable force. You broke them all away, and now, what the fuck is going on? O'Reilly seems unimportant. Roderick Strong's not there. Bobby Fish, he came back after this match, and he saved Kyle O'Reilly from a beatdown from Pete Dunne. So Bobby Fish is back. They eye each other after Fish made the save. They stare each other down. O'Reilly says, "It's good to see you back." Fish says, "It's good to be back." So O'Reilly says, "I'm doing this thing on my own. I got my own thing going on." Fish understands O'Reilly's doing his own thing. And Bobby Fish says, "I'm back to settle my own scores." Obviously with Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan. Fish says he will see O'Reilly when he sees him. And Bobby Fish exits the ring. I don't understand what's going on with these guys. But if all we're going to get is cool Kyle, I think it's probably best we pair Kyle O'Reilly back with Bobby Fish. How does anybody expect Bobby Fish to get over on his own? Are you interested in seeing Bobby Fish as a solo act in WWE? Those are the same people that are growing very frustrated with Kyle O'Reilly being a solo act. It ain't working. It ain't working. I think everybody's in agreement here that when they are together, they are stronger. It ain't working out. Kyle O'Reilly needs Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish needs Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole is the only guy in this group that is going to be perfectly okay by himself. And even he looks stronger with them by his side. I don't understand why we split up the Undisputed Era. I really don't. I really don't. It's just unreal to me how the New Day can still be doing their shit and nobody even thinks twice about breaking them up, but you want to break up the Undisputed Era? Now, granted, New Day is not Undisputed Era and Undisputed Era is not the New Day, but Kofi Kingston, he was a world champion. He could be a solo guy. He was a solo guy before the New Day. Big E was a solo guy before the New Day. The New Day made him a main event guy, potentially. And then you got Xavier Woods, who I always say, and you can quote me on this because I've said it plenty of times, you give him a solo run, I guarantee he'll end up the same way as Kofi Kingston. Xavier Woods. Very underrated superstar. But look at what the New Day has done and how long they've done it. And we broke up the Undisputed Era in what? 3.5 years? 4 years? Not like they're going anywhere. It's unbelievable, man. 8 years of tossing fucking pancakes around. How long have they been around? 7 years? 6 years? Probably longer than that. It's unreal to me, man. Kyle O'Reilly does not look like a main event guy. Yet there's people claiming that they want him versus Karrion Kross. Are you fucking serious? I wouldn't even put Adam Cole in that discussion. And Cole is one of the best wrestlers in that entire company. Unreal. 2 out of 3 falls match. This is for the Cruiserweight Championship. Kushida versus Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar is one of the best wrestlers that they got, not only in NXT, but the company, man. I think the sky is the limit for someone like Santos Escobar. I really do. I just don't have any faith in these people to push him properly. The gimmick is great. The vision and the goal for him is great. You could have a lot of fun with Santos Escobar just doing what he says he wants to do with the likes of Rey Mysterio or the Lucha House Party. Shit like that, if you got good creative writing behind it, could be really, really fun. Imagine Legado del Fantasma feuding with the Mysterios. Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Imagine that, you know? Imagine Rey Mysterio feuding with Santos Escobar. It could be fucking money. Money! I don't know why we haven't seen it yet. I don't know why Dominic is not in NXT or was in NXT to feud over the Cruiserweight Championship against Santos Escobar. But there's money there. Now, I don't know what happens to him. Where does he go? It seems like a foregone conclusion that he's going to move on to something a little bit more. Or at least I hope so. Because he didn't win the championship here. It would have been absolutely ridiculous if he did win the championship. So he lost this match to Kushida. Because I'm assuming they're going to do Kushida versus Jordan Devlin at some point down the line. And I think Devlin's probably going to take the title off of Kushida because they're all incredibly high on Jordan Devlin. Both Triple H and Shawn Michaels are. But this match was great. This match was awesome. I'm glad they got the main event spot. So the first fall went to Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar got the first fall. Kushida was being beaten down. He made a comeback into a handspring back elbow and a cartwheel drop kick. Escobar quickly cut him off. Escobar executed a phantom driver out of nowhere. Escobar made the cover 1, 2, 3, and he won the first fall. The second fall lasted mere seconds. Kushida locked in a Kross arm breaker, and Escobar tapped out immediately. So we go to a 1-1 tie in this 2 out of 3 falls match. 2 out of 3 falls matches are very predictable almost all the time. It's a very rare occasion where you get a clean sweep. Almost all the time they go 1-1. And then you get that third and deciding pinfall. I don't even like 2 out of 3 falls match. I like the concept of 2 out of 3 falls matches, but they always end up in the same way. You know, surprised me once. I know you got to make one guy win, you know, 1 pinfall, the other guy win 1 pinfall, but surprised me once. Why does it got to end in a 2-1 win? Why can't it end in a 2-0 win? It's just very predictable. Very predictable. So the second fall lasted seconds, and then the third fall, immediately, the action spilled to the outside. Kushida kept targeting the arm after the Kross arm breaker. Escobar snapped Kushida on the top rope. Escobar followed with a torpedo, and I mean torpedo, tope suicida through the ropes. Kushida fought back to drop a flying knee in the ring on Escobar, which targeted the already injured arm from earlier. Kushida dropped Escobar with a shoulder breaker on the floor. Then they're back in the ring. Escobar countered an attempted armbar by using a small package to get a 2 count. They traded near falls until a double clothesline took both guys out. They got up and ended up fighting on the top turnbuckle. Kushida flipped off with a hoverboard lock off the top rope. Escobar was able to reach the bottom rope to break the hold. Kushida suplexed Escobar into the turnbuckles. He landed right on his head. Kushida went to suplex him again. Kushida did, but this time he trapped both of Escobar's arms. Kushida then bridged into a cover. And my God, man, I'm not even going to do this justice because I don't even know how to call it. It was almost a German suplex where he trapped Escobar's shoulders and arms behind him to a point where he was physically unable to kick out. It was all over. You have to go and watch the replay. Absolutely magnificent pinfall attempt by Kushida to finish off Escobar. He retains the Cruiserweight Championship after winning the last 2 falls in this match. First making Escobar tap and then pinning him down clean. 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Where does Escobar go from here? I don't know, man. That's another guy I could see moving on up to the North American Championship title picture, but the guy's good to be anywhere, really. And I hate saying that because I legitimately have no faith in them booking anybody right. I want to say I'd love to see him on SmackDown. But I don't even want to say that because nobody really fares well coming up from NXT, especially if they're a guy like Escobar. That's just the way it is. Fantastic main event. And we got Kushida retaining the Cruiserweight Championship. Awesome stuff, guys. NXT was not bad tonight. And I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening on OTS. We're going to get into the Super Chats, guys. Remember, if you are in the chat, please hit that thumbs up and hit that like button, man. We are almost to the goal of 500. Let's do it. 500 likes is the goal. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. As well, if you guys want more content, I will be back live tomorrow night with Jesse on the AEW Dynamite Post Show right here on Off the Script. And then back Friday for SmackDown. So we got much more to cover on WWE and AEW this week. So make sure you go and do that if you want to be up to date on everything going on in the world of pro wrestling. Follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below, like I said. And go check out Dr. Squatch, drsquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. Excellent stuff there. Sandman Sizzle in the chat. JD bashing Braun, but praises Swerve. You're damn fucking right. Braun is complete and utter trash. There's no conceivable way you can look at Braun Strowman and say he's better than Isaiah Swerve Scott. Fuck out of here with that shit, man. My God, are people that fucking stupid? Ali with the $4.99 super chat. Hey, JD, I want to say much respect to you and your Off the Script. The way you do it, they are so entertaining. God bless you, man. Thank you, Ali. I appreciate you, bro. Wait a minute. Sandman Sizzle in the chat said that's not me. Or do we got somebody imitating Sandman Sizzle in the chat? The fuck is going on, man? Oh my God. You know, it's best. We got the trolls cloning accounts in the chat, man. My God. Oh, Sandman, listen, I apologize, bro. I had no idea, man. I don't even look at the chat anymore. I don't. The one time I look at it, somebody's cloning your fucking account, bro. I'm sorry. God, can you people be any more fucking ridiculous? Go and get laid, please. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Munchie time with a $4.99 super chat. They even, listen, if they cloned Hooligrim, everybody would know it's not Hooligrim because Hooligrim's got a wrench next to his name. Munchie time with the $4.99. Press that like button or Thunder Rosa will beat you senseless, goons. All hail the IWC Tribal Chief. We love Thunder Rosa here, man. Furious Nation, $5 super chat. What's up, JD? I'm really pulling for a Bronson Reed win next week. As am I, man. Do we see a tsunami frog splash off the top of the cage next week from Thick Boy? Oh, man, I hope so. I would not want to be Johnny Gargano in this lifetime or the next lifetime to take that fucking move. Stephen Beck with a $20 super chat. What's your preference for casinos to go to for a birthday between Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun? Listen, Stefan, I've never been to both, but I hear Mohegan Sun is the better of the two. Thank you for $20, brother. And happy early birthday. R. Wells with a $5 super chat. You are so awesome, JD. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, R. Wells. Furious Nation with a $5 super chat. Am I the only one that thinks that Hit Row reminds me of the Nation of Domination? No. They do not. You are the only one that feels that way, man. Eddie Hazard with a $9.99 super chat. I missed NXT tonight because of a funeral I was attending. I'm sorry, bro. I don't like hearing any of that. Is Kyle O'Reilly still dressing up like a dollar store Orange Cassidy? Yes, in the parking lot, he confronted Oney Lorcan tonight. He was dressed in a funny-looking summery shirt with big, obnoxious glasses on. Cool Kyle ain't working for him, man. Cool Kyle is not main event Kyle O'Reilly. Robert Aronaz with a $5 super chat. Always enjoy your vids, JD. Keep up the great work. Will you bring back hate mail segments? They were always hilarious. I don't know, man. It depends on if I have the time and energy to screen cap all of the bullshit that I get on the daily on Twitter and on YouTube. Sometimes I just go and I just hit block. Because it's just, most of the time, so stupid. It makes me dumber for reading it. DX for Life with an Australian $5 super chat. Hey, JD, love your work, mate. Do you think we see WWE announce their tour dates soon after AEW announced theirs? No. I do not think that WWE is being pressured by AEW, nor do I think they should be pressured. AEW is doing it because they're ready, and WWE is holding off because they're not ready. But that's what happens when you get into a contract with the Yuengling Center, which is the new Thunderdome. They have a contract that specifically states no fans. So WWE can't really have fans. Otherwise, I think that they would. The Dud with a $2 super chat. War Games 2019 had a better ending than Blood and Guts. Yes, I agree. Jaden Vlogs with a $9.99 super chat. Even though you don't have much people watching you tonight, we still support you. You're still making the money, so don't worry about the goons. And again, Vic Joseph. How many did Vic Joseph give tonight? I couldn't count anymore, man. Every big movie he called out with a Vic Joseph. Thank you, Jaden. Captain Solo. Captain Solo with a $2 super chat. Any chance we see Daniel Bryan tomorrow on AEW? No. YT Malice with a $4.99 super chat. Is Finn the guy to beat Roman, though? No, nobody's the guy to beat Roman. Nobody. Furious Nation with a $5 super chat. I like the fact that NXT is announcing matches in advance for the upcoming weeks. Yeah, I have always enjoyed that. The main roster should do that. But I agree on your Balor vs. Reigns idea for SummerSlam. Sounds like a SummerSlam match to me, man. Ty Sloan with a $1.99 super chat. Thoughts on Shinedown, Def Leppard, and Slayer? Ty Sloan seems to be the music guy around here. Shinedown is very good. I think their vocalist, I don't know his name, is a very good vocalist. But I think they're a very good band. Not my personal preference, but I think they're a very good band. Def Leppard, Slayer, when I used to play music, we were heavily influenced by Slayer. I was more of a Sepultura guy. I thought Sepultura's brand of thrash was better than Slayer's brand of thrash, but that was just me. But Slayer is iconic, man. I've seen them 6 times in concert. Once in New York City, where some geek in the back of the venue threw a fucking beer at the stage in excitement and blew out Kerry King's fucking speaker. So they only had one guitarist. Coil Phoenix 713 with the $20 super chat. Thank you, Coil Phoenix. Hey, G, I have a serious question. Why are we getting these new tag teams and showcasing them when they already established tag teams? When the already established tag teams should be getting that spotlight, that push that they absolutely deserve. What new tag teams are you talking about, Phoenix? Ciampa and Thatcher, I'm assuming, is what you're talking about. They don't have enough established tag teams, is the point. So Ciampa is being used in a building phase, I guess, because they got nothing else better for him to do, which is a shame. But they don't have many established tag teams to begin with. That's the problem. Thank you for the $20, though. I appreciate you every week, Coil Phoenix. Furious Nation with a $5 super chat. Also, I feel like the pandemic has really hurt NXT. It definitely has. I think it's hurt NXT most. It's hurt NXT the most out of any brand. I really miss NXT in Full Sail and Morrow and Nigel in NXT. NXT needs Full Sail, Morrow, and Nigel. I agree on all accounts. Furious Nation, man. Logan McCall with a $5 super chat. Strowman Express is going to win the WWE title Backlash. Whee! Just kidding. No, Drew McIntyre is winning the title. And if he doesn't, Jinder Mahal is winning the Money in the Bank and taking the title from Bobby Lashley. Those are the only two options here. Then Drew wins it at SummerSlam from Jinder Mahal. Either way, we're getting Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. That is the end result, folks. YT Malice became a new member, bro. You're sitting VIP behind me. What are you drinking, bro? Yo, Jesse, get Malice whatever he wants to drink. And bring it over to the table chilled, please, okay? Matthew Sandate with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, JD, I think Ryan Satan and Billy Kay outside the venue showing the bouncer their resumes trying to get in. Listen, bro, Ryan Satan, his face is plastered behind the bar, and in big red letters, it says, "Do not serve." I don't even think he drinks, man. Get him a fucking Hawaiian punch. That's what the pussies drink. Hooligan with the $10 super chat. JD, the trolls are now clones. They are taking our names and making fake accounts. Beware. Love having an extra night of OTS. Thank you, man. Hooligan, thank you for being here, bro. I may actually shut the chat off next Tuesday. Honestly. But I appreciate you, Hooligan. Thank you for being here, bro. And holding it down, as always, inside the venue. Jack Brewer with a $5 super chat. Are you a bigger fan of Dio or Ozzy from Black Sabbath? Dio. I thought Ronnie James Dio had an amazing metal voice. Ali with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, JD, what was the scariest part you played in Resident Evil Village? Definitely the large baby fetus chasing me. It reminded me of Silent Hill's PT. That shit was fucking scary. PT. Probably my favorite playthrough ever. Hollywood Guy with a $5 super chat. Hey, G, the great video as usual. One question. If Mahal wins the title, who is next? If Mahal wins the title, they should cancel Raw altogether. Who's next if Mahal wins the championship? I have no idea. No idea. Matthew Sandate, $4.99 super chat. Vic Joseph, or a Verk, we're going to need a bigger boat. Anyway, JD, keep up the good work. I'll always be here even on Tuesdays. Thank you, Sandate. Appreciate you, bro. Munchie time. Any new craft beer you recommend to try? Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now, bro. I got to get my hands on it. I have yet to have it. I just know it's going to be fucking awesome. Southern Tier Strawberry Dream Milkshake IPA, bro. It sounds like it's made for me. It's going to be my summer jam. I just know it already. Sounds delicious. It's got a 91% rating on Beer Advocate. It's right up my alley, man. I don't even like IPAs, but a hazy IPA or a milkshake IPA, it's got my name all over it, bro. Trevor with a $4.99 super chat. Watch you with my dad every week. Funniest guy in the IWC. Thank you for all that you do, and speaking the truth constantly makes me happy when I'm depressed. Trevor, thank you to you and your pops. I appreciate both of you being here. And I will continue to be here if you guys are always going to pack the venue every single week. Southern Tier Strawberry Dream Milkshake IPA. I haven't found it yet, but I will eventually. Kratos, 530 days sober, man. Good for you, brother. That is quite the accomplishment there. But guys, I'm about to get out of here. I'm going to jump on Destiny because the servers were down all day today. New season came out. I got some grinding to do. I got some exotics to get. I got a vault of glass ready to get ready for. But I thank you guys for showing up tonight, man. Tonight was a great show. Tonight was a great live stream, guys. And thank you for being awesome and packing the venue as always. I will be back tomorrow with Jesse, AEW Dynamite. Gonna be a big show. Miro versus Darby Allin in the main event for the TNT Championship. But Edgar Estrada, thank you, bro. Great review. Good night, JD. Cheers. Edgar, I love you, brother. I love you, man. Guys, I got my cold beverage. Mustang is right outside. Windows are down. I'm about to hit the highway. I need two things from you. Number one, give me those guitar emojis in the chat. And that music, Max. I'll see you guys on Wednesday with Jesse for AEW Dynamite and the post show right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.